Hello, everyone. It's great to see you all here. We are today going to be talking about mentoring and how it affects women, and what steps they can take to find a mentor um, and actually become one themselves. So, before we actually begin, I would love to see everyone who has joined us, and this just remember, this is going to be a conversation rather than a presentation. Although I have prepared a presentation, but the main reason it's there is to just provide a structure for us to have this conversation. But feel free to add comments, ask questions in the chat, and I will be going over them, and we will be discussing your queries, your issues, and making sure that once we end this conversation, you are in a better place from when you started. So let me share my screen. Yes. So mentoring is a very important subject for men, women, a person from every age, every gender. It's an important factor because it helps, it makes sure that you're not alone in your struggles, and it provides perspective from every angle. So, and because we are celebrating today International Women's Month, hence the topic revolves a bit more. Maybe the examples will be revolving a bit more around women, but this is an important conversation that every man, woman, child, teenager needs to have, so that they understand what a mentor looks like, rather than compared to someone who's giving them just random advice, right? So before we begin, um, we want to see if I can be a good mentor for you. So let's talk about me for a second. Who am I? Why should you be listening to me? It's important to understand that I have actually had previous experience mentoring people, and this has I have a background in engineering. I am working as a technical project manager, and as a mentor, I actually love talking about mentorship, and I label myself as a mentor. The reason being, I have been using LinkedIn as a platform to access as many people as I can, to provide guidance, to provide support for career development. If there are any issues, any questions, they can have you can reach out to me, and you can talk to me about it. I have also been helping people with their careers, with their development journey. And I don't know how many people I've talked to. There are like hundreds of people that I've talked to. I've reviewed hundreds of resumes, and my professional journey for now has been so different. It's not and revolves around so many aspects. For example, I moved locations, so I have helped people understanding what happens if you're relocating from one place to another. I have transitioned between different roles, so that helps me help you understand how transitions look like. I have also had to be part of a job hunting process from scratch, especially when I was transitioning. So I've helped a lot of people there, making sure that they understand what is the new and upcoming trends in the industry that they need to be aware of when they're job hunting. So my mentoring conversations revolve mainly around career development and progression. However, of course, this is something that generally varies from what kind of mentor you are looking for. And feel free to add in the comments about what you are currently looking for in a mentor, and have you been successful in doing so? Hi, Zishan from Toronto. And Zishan is actually an amazing mentor himself. And just wanted to give him a shout out. Do follow him on LinkedIn. He is teaching product managers about how to move from a non-technical background to a technical background. So, hi Zishan, great to see you here. And yeah, let's begin. Just to have an idea, an overview of what we will be discussing in this conversation. Remember, this is a conversation and not a presentation. So feel free to comment, feel free to ask questions, and share your stories as well. So we will be going over how can mentoring help people, what are the different types of mentoring, formal and informal mentoring, how you can find a mentor, um, how can you build a relationship with your mentor, and ultimately how can you become a mentor yourself. I will be taking in questions from you, and of course replying to any comments that you have, and I would love to have this conversation with you. So let's begin. So, how can mentoring help you? Mentoring can help you identify the what skills or what achievement or goals you need to have um, to have to achieve that career progression or the career track that you want. It can help you increase your confidence. Mentoring can improve your knowledge and broaden your skills. It can help you feel empowered and encouraged when you are with people in your tribe. It can help you feel supported. um, you can see the potential that a mentor can point out for you. Sometimes people find themselves, because you have been with yourself so long, you don't see how amazing and how extremely talented you are until unless someone points it out to you. So that is a key essential element that helps mentees. And then you get a greater options to different careers that there are and different opportunities that you have yet to explore. And but however, when we're talking about women generally don't tend to look for a mentor, or they're hesitant to look for one, mainly because they feel that they will look weak. Why is that? Why do women feel that maybe finding a mentor can make them look weak? One of them being is a lot of unconscious bias around women not being great at what they do. So, for example, in a company, when you are interacting with your male in a male dominated field, when you're interacting with your colleagues, they might think because you're a woman you may not have a better understanding of maybe development. If there is this unconscious bias, this can sometimes make a women feel that if they're asking for help from someone, maybe they'll judge them, and think that they don't know what their field is about, or um, they're not knowledgeable enough. So these are sometimes can women do have this idea that it can make them look weak. However, it's complete opposite. A mentor can actually help a woman's boost a woman's confidence. It can help a woman feel more empowered to ask for promotions, to ask for increased responsibility, and to actually navigate through their career journeys. And how has mentors helped you? How have you used mentors to progress in your career? Do let me know in the comments. I would love to see if you have been actively been part of a mentor-mentee relationship. Yep. So let's talk about formal and informal mentoring. So, I mean, let's because we this conversation is about everything about formal mentoring. Let's talk about informal mentoring. Informal mentoring. Informal could be you meet someone once, you start talking to them, and you have a few questions and you ask them for advice, right? This is informal, it's one time. Both the parties do not have any responsibilities with regard to the career progression of a mentee. um, and these conversations, the informal mentoring conversations, are generally unstructured, and it could be similar to maybe you're talking to your family or your friend once. And I think that is something, that is what we'd call an informal mentoring. No one is really responsible for the progress. It's just Q&A of sorts. You can ask your elder or your sibling, and that's just informal mentoring. With formal mentoring, that is something that we are going to talk about today. How can you bring structure to your conversations with a mentor, which can actually help you actually help you understand and reach your goals better. I see that people are joining us from London and Peshawar, and that's amazing. I would love to see your experiences from different areas of the world, and how has mentoring been helping you so far. Um, so I see that my slides are just playing up on the screen. Then they might have an issue or a glitch, so just bear with it. Um, all right, so let's move forward. Let's talk about how can you find a mentor. How does finding a mentor look like? So, number one, identifying what you need in a mentor. That, I think, is a very important factor. Identifying the right mentor. Um, I think the first thing, or the key ingredient for this, is understanding what you need from a mentor. What are you looking for? What kind of guidance are you looking for? Are you trying to apply abroad for a job? Are you trying to apply for a university abroad? Are you looking for a particular promotion? Are you looking to transition into a new field? Are you looking to explore what your options are when you graduate? So there are different questions. What is the goal that you'll have from this particular mentor that you're looking for? You do not need to have one mentor for everything. You do not need to have one mentor who will be teaching you how to apply to university, how to find or get a promotion that you're looking for, how to transition from one role to another. These are like three different mentors right now. So find the goal that you're looking for right now, just aim for that with one of the mentors that you're looking for, and then just identify. So first is understanding where you're at, what place are you at? Are you a fresh graduate? Are you a new employee? And where you're looking to go? What's the goal of this? What will happen after 6 months of having conversation with that particular mentor? So that's one. The second is, what are your current challenges? Where do you feel that a mentor can come in and help you? What are the current challenges that you're facing in your in your particular position? Is it that you do not know what options that there are for applying for a particular role? Do you not understand that maybe you've been working in a company for 3 years and still you haven't been promoted? What could you be doing wrong? Is that a challenge for you? Is that what you want to identify with your mentor? Um, and then you have, what challenges do you see or foresee in the future? Are there any challenges that you think that you may have to prepare yourself for? So these are some of the questions that you need to ask before actually jumping in to finding a mentor. All right. So let's just go over this again. You have to understand where you're at, what your goal is. You have to understand what your current challenges look like and what your future challenges look like. Perfect. So then we talk about requesting a mentor, or actually going out and finding a mentor. This requesting a mentor is the last step of actually connecting with a mentor. When we say that we want a mentor, whether we are looking for a mentor, once you have an understanding of what you need, you then um, and I have to you then have to identify, or then you have to understand what your mentor needs to have in their background or in their experience, or and just have that general professional career track that can help you best. So, for example, if someone was looking to break into project management from an engineering background, so that they can come to my profile and they may notice that I have done the same. I have moved from engineering to project management, and that is something that they are looking to do themselves. So they can reach out to me, and they can discuss that with me. So one thing is identifying what experiences your mentor should have, and then you start searching. Start from your first degree contacts and then move to second and third. What do I mean by first degree contacts? So first degree contacts could be your friends, your family, your current colleagues, your manager. So, who are the current people in your first degree network that may have a similar background or a similar track, or may have had a similar experience? Then, if you're unable to find someone from there, move move to second degree. So, does your in first degree contacts know anyone who is in a similar position, who has done the same? Ask them to make that connection for you. Ask them to introduce you to that person, so that you can begin a relationship, a mentoring relationship with them. So start from your first degree contacts, then your second degree contacts, and then your third degree contacts. So we'll talk more about reaching out to third degree contact connections. These are basically more of strangers. So how do we ask someone to come? Yes. So we will be talking more about how can you contact a mentor, and how can you become ask someone to become your mentor. So we will be discussing that again. So it's important to actually build a relationship with the person that you're trying to take on as a mentor. For example, I when I was looking to transition from engineering, I was very confused. I actually wanted to understand what options I had. Where can I move to? How can my engineering background be an essential part in the next role that I am in? What am I capable of achieving? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What could be a good fit for my role? And I actually look for a mentor within my personal network. And shout out to my manager, Fazan Khan, in Keep Truckin'. He was an amazing mentor. I think wherever I am is because of him. He helped me understand what my goals were, what my weaknesses were. He helped me prepare for my role as a potential tech project manager. So sometimes you just have to ask or look really closely around your first degree network to find a mentor that can actually play a very essential role in your career development. So once you have identified a mentor, and realized that this is the person you want to talk to, what do? You get in touch with them. How you'll get in touch with them? If it's a first degree contact, you already have that previous relationship to build on. If it's a second degree connection, you can just ask your first degree connection to make that introduction. So you have a mutual connection in between. You can start from there. That's like one step towards building that relationship. And then if you have, let's just say, a third degree connection, we'll talk about that in the next slide. How do you reach out to them? So first, set up an initial call or have that initial conversation with your potential mentor. Maybe it could be like 15 minutes or 30 minutes. Just try to understand what or whether they are a good fit. try to understand if there is a connection, if the things that they're talking about resonate with you, if their background is something that resonates with you, if their struggles and experiences are something that can help you um, in your in your in your struggle to reach to that goal. So that initial call, 15 to 10 to 15-minute call, is going to help you sort of shortlist that person as a potential mentor. Then take an initiative if you think that person has the right set of skills and background to help you. Take the initiative within that call to set up the next meeting. Be assertive. It's important to show that you are eager to learn and that you want to have that person, or you want to extract knowledge from that person. So take the initiative to propose a time for the next meeting. Work on building that relationship with your with that mentor. Set clear expectations. This building a relationship with the mentor is something that we are going to talk about in our in these slides later on. So recapping everything, right? Requesting a mentor. What you do is find understand what experiences or background your mentor will need. Start a search within your first degree, then second degree, and then third degree connections. Have an initial screening call. Make sure that the person that you are connecting with is someone you would want to be talking to for the next 6 months. And then, if you gel, if you actually connect, take the initiative to set up the next meeting. Work on building that relationship. Let's see. And do not ask them if they will be your mentor. Because sometimes when you do connect with someone, you can just take that initiative and you can just start talking to them about your career, start connecting, start building that relationship. You do not really need to put a label on it. You don't have to say, will you be my mentor? They'll say, yes, I will love to be your mentor. It just happens when they are gelling, when they are connecting. You can just keep having those conversations, go back to them, always give like bi-weekly or a weekly check-in. So understand how you want to structure that. You don't necessarily have to reach out to someone in the first message and ask them, I want to have you as a mentor. You don't need to do that. So let's see. When we're talking about mentors, it's important to have a mix of mentor. So you should have female mentors, you should have young mentors, you should have male mentors. All of them can provide different aspects or different perspective of where you want to be in your career. And of course, you don't have to have all of them at a single point in time. You can just have them separately in different areas. Based on my goals and challenges, someone else chooses a mentor for me. So yeah, I mean, if someone else chooses a mentor for you, it's probably they probably know what you are looking for, what goals you have in mind. They may help you make a connection. So that's where a second degree connection would come, right? If you don't know who might be in their network, they may say, I have this amazing colleague, I think they'll be able to help you. So when you set up that initial call with them, that's where you'll be evaluating whether that person is or will be a good mentor for you. So we were, yes. So we'll be talking about having a mix of, wait, how to evaluate if your mentor relationship working for you. Yes. So let's talk about this later in our slides. Right now, I was discussing how we can have a mix of mentors to have a successful career. A female mentor can help you in struggles that they too can relate to. For example, navigating around wage gap, navigating around promotions, competing against male dominated fields, or competing within those fields, and then having a work life balance, how to maintain that. So there are some issues or some problems that a female mentor do have a mutual or relatable area where they can give you some help. A young mentor can help you provide fresher perspectives on industry trends and tools that can help you with your business or your particular team. Male mentors, male mentors are very essential, especially because a lot of the senior leadership roles and managerial positions require have men on top, right? So there are men in senior leadership positions. They can actually help you identify what you need in order to get to that place. They can help you build those bridges, help you identify career situations from a leadership perspective. So having male coaches and male mentors is very important. They can also help you advocate for bigger opportunities by being well connected. So, have you ever had problems with reaching out to potential mentors? How do you generally do that? So I'll take a few questions that I missed. How to evaluate if a mentor relationship. So we'll talk about how men and women can have a mentor relationship in the next slide, I think. So this is a topic that we will be discussing because it's important and essential for men to have female mentees and vice versa. So yeah, so let's see. Connecting with strangers. So now let's talk about connecting to people on LinkedIn, right? How do you connect to people who you do not know, who are not in your first or second degree connections? It can actually be very overwhelming for you and for the other person who's getting the message. For example, I am sitting on my computer, minding my own business, and I suddenly receive someone's message asking me to be their mentor, and suddenly I'm overwhelmed. Why? Because I do not know who that person is. I do not have that relationship with that person. I do not know if I can even help that person. What are they looking for? What is the goal that they want me to mentor them? Are they actually looking to get their resume reviewed rather than actually having a mentoring session? So these are two different things. So what is it and why is it that you're reaching out to me? It's actually very overwhelming, and it can be so overwhelming that I may not reply. So you have to identify that the person sitting on the other end is also a human who do not know who you are, and that is why it's important to start or lay a foundation to build a relationship when you actually begin, when you actually start a conversation. So, what do? You find someone on LinkedIn to help you, or let's just say you got an email ID from someone and you want to send them the first message. You want to introduce yourself. What do? You, if it's a connection request, of course, you have a very limited number of words that you can use. So you can just talk about what you admire if they are posting content, what you admire in their content. If you have met that person before, where have you met that person, and was it a good experience for you? Tell them that I we met in that seminar and it was really great talking to you about the upcoming marketing trends in the industry, and I would love to learn more and connect again with you. Send that message. Tell them how they have connected with you or how they have built a relationship with you previously. Do they have a career path similar to you? Talk about that. Have you gone through their profile and you notice that there are a lot of similarities in their profile that you can talk about? Do they come from the same company? Have they been in the same company as you? Are they an alumni of your university? What other speaking points have you been talking to when reaching out to new people? Tell me about that. It's important to actually introduce yourself in one way or the other, to remove that feeling of or overwhelming that a mentor may, or a potential mentor may get when you connect to them. So, what has your experience been connecting with strangers? Okay, let's see. Let's talk about building a mentor-mentee relationship. So this is a very important conversation. Why? Because finding a mentor can be as easy as someone connecting you with one, and then identifying your issues can be something that you may have done like 2 months ago. But how can you make sure that you're actually building that relationship? You're not, that relationship is not going stale. How can you make sure that after every conversation with your mentor, that relationship is actually getting stronger rather than just flat, right? You don't see the sparks happening, you don't see how they're helping you. So just let's talk about how you can just improve or build on that relationship. I know my slides are a little bit wonky, but they'll get fine as I talk along. So let's talk about how you can improve or build your relationship. When you get, after your initial screening call and you set up another meeting, for that meeting have an agenda ready. That actually shows that you have a clear mind, you have a clear goal setting, and that you understand that why this conversation is happening. You respect the other person's time and you respect your own time as well. So have an agenda ready. One thing that you can do is you can share that agenda with them before you have that conversation. So, for example, you have a meeting scheduled with them tomorrow. So, take the initiative to send them an agenda that, hi, looking forward to talking to you about the following. I have been thinking about my goals, and I think these are some of the things that I would love to discuss or talk about in our meeting. So that is something that you can you can take the initiative to set an agenda so that your mentor has a clear perspective of what they may need to prepare beforehand, um, before joining in that conversation. Then setting goals and milestones. So this is more of a long-term planning. Agenda is for every meeting, you may have a separate agenda, but goals and milestones will be set for a longer period of time. For example, you can say, for this month, I want to target building my communication skills. And for this month, I want to understand how to write an application for university, right? So have a goal and set milestones for long term. So after 3 calls, you have a milestone that you would have sent an application, right? Or you should have a personal statement if you're sending it to a university. So have milestones, set goals, so that after a few minutes, so that's easier for you to track progress of where you're going, whether this conversation or these mentorship really calls have been beneficial for you. And then take notes. This is another important factor. When you're talking to people, make sure that you're looking into the notes that you are taking during these calls. Take those notes, and after you're done with the call, send these notes to your mentor. So if there is something that they have to do, maybe they have to connect you with the resource, maybe they have to connect you with the person, so that this is sort of a reminder for them to do that. And also, if they were to connect you with a person or send you a resource and they haven't done that, check up on that after 3 to 4 days. It's important to take your progress seriously so that they know that you are taking this seriously and they can be an active part of that. So that is very important. So you've set up your goals, you have your homework ready. Make sure your mentor understands what their homework is. Create a document to track your progress. Translate all of the notes that you've taken in that document, track your progress, make sure that you are following all the goals and milestones and achieving them throughout your conversation. This is a professional exchange, and you have to deal it like that. And even though there is no monetary exchange, you are exchanging your time, and it's the same for both mentor and mentee. That is why you need structure. You are exchanging your time for that progress. Make sure that you're utilizing that time, and then create a schedule. So for you may say that we will be setting up a call every month for the next 6 months. So send them a calendar link for all of your meeting invites beforehand, so they have that in their schedule and they can plan accordingly. So take that as a very professional conversation that you're having with that person. So yeah, let's take a few questions if there are. Um, and are there any questions? Nope. Okay. Sounds good. Let's talk about mixed gender mentorship. And this was a question that popped up earlier. How can a man mentor a female, or vice versa? It's important when it's a mixed gender mentorship. Um, Many times women are hesitant to reach out to male mentors, or male mentors can be hesitant to have like conversations with a female mentee, mainly because of how people might perceive that relationship. So this is a very tricky topic. However, it's all about setting boundaries. What is important? Setting those boundaries is essential when we start talking about building a relationship. So setting boundaries would include maybe setting up meetings at a right time and at a right place. And because these mentoring sessions do not always are not always online, they can sometimes happen in person as well. For example, you go out for coffees with your colleague, and they and you talk about your career, professional journey, right? So they can be your mentor, and you could be meeting them every so often. So you have to understand setting clear boundaries both in person and online. So in persons you can and online you have to, or you should have meetings that are at a regular time, and for in person at a regular place. So maybe a cafe where there are people and you can just discuss. Of course, it does not have to be noisy. And even if it's a call, maybe at a time that is more appropriate in the mornings, you can set up a call with your mentor, and then you can yeah, if it's an in-person conversation, you can meet in public spaces are good. Even if you are in your office, you can have a room set up for you, or you can have like these conversations around lunch. So people understand that it's a scheduled or a frequent thing that they talk about. So it's important to understand that the timings, or when you are meeting that person or where you're meeting that person, is important. Also, make sure that you're involving your families. You're not, I would say, scheduling the meetings over your family. So put your family first, prioritize around them. If you have to cancel, it's fine. If it's a family commitment, you can you can just schedule or propose another time. And make sure that your family, if it's, let's just say it's an online thing, make sure that your family is aware of this conversation, or this conversation that you're having with this mentor, and they understand it's happening at a normal time, it's happening at a scheduled time for set number of minutes, you get. And just having that understanding is important for both mentor and mentee. And of course, having those boundaries about what can be discussed, what cannot be. Let's just say someone poaches a difficult or a controversial passes a controversial statement um, within that conversation. It's important to recognize what the issue is and actually talking about it. Okay, so try not to ignore something that you may think was not the best thing that they could have said, right? So just set clear boundaries just there and that, or maybe send them a message later on that this was something that came up and I was not really comfortable around this topic. Let's try to talk about this particular agenda next time that we meet. So you need to identify things that may create a problem for you. Yes. So um, so tell me about what different strategies you use in your sessions, and how do you build your relationships. Now let's talk about becoming a mentor. So we have built a relationship, we have found a mentor, we talk to them, we have so much knowledge now. We have a treasure chest full of knowledge. And you would like to help people, right? I have actually mentored people who have 12 years of work experience. I have mentor someone who is running their own business and they wanted to help build their brand. Even though I am young. I may not have a business experience, but yet I am helping people build their personal brand, and so that business was able to take some of my advice and improve themselves. That the person who was looking for a role after 12 years working in the same company needed fresh perspective onto what is up and coming when we're talking about job hunting. So that is where I was able to help them. So age, gender, race do not matter when it comes to mentoring. If you have the knowledge, pass it on. That is the key important factor. So let's talk about becoming a good mentor. So keys to becoming a great mentor: it's important to match your interest. So now we previously we were discussing everything in the seat of a mentee. Now we want to talk about a mentor, becoming a mentor. Let's see, my slides are being a little bit wonky. Okay, so let's talk about keys of becoming a great mentor. So matching your interest. Make sure that you have the right skills to help that person. As a mentor, you need to justify putting in your time and justify the time that they are putting with you in you. They're trusting you with their time, their energy, and trusting you to help them help them grow, right? So make sure that you have the right skills to help that person. Make sure that you're genuinely interested in helping them. Understand that whether you have the time to be a mentor right now or not. Make sure that you yourself also connect with that person in the initial call that they set up. And make sure that this mentoring relationship is not a half-hearted, less connected, or less informed relationship. Respect your time, right? So that is our next point: giving your time. Do you have the bandwidth to give time to that mentee? um, dif- do you even have the frequency of meeting with them twice a month? Maybe you can only do once a month. Set that expectation early on. Would this be a long term or would this be a short term mentoring? Make sure that you have discussed this with your mentee. Maybe they're looking for guidance for just 1 month, for just a particular promotion that they're looking for, and that promotion is coming up in a month, in or 2 months. This can be a short term. Would this make sure that if they are looking for a long term expectations from you, you talk about that as well. A short term, yeah, so long term relationship could last months, it could last years. So just have those clear expectations early on. And then will you be willing to share your contact, share resources with the mentee? Do you have the connections to connect your mentee to the right people? How make sure that do you have um, a clear understanding of how your mentee will behave with your connections? That's very important. Would your mentee give them the same respect as you would? So make sure before you introduce your connections with a mentee, just make sure that they will be treated with the same respect as you are treating them. So and of course, it's important to value your connections time as well. And yes. So we can also talk, for example, let's say you have a conflict with your mentor, and you are not able to connect with them at a good level. It can be from mentor's perspective and also a mentee's perspective. We can discuss this in the next slide, where sometimes things do go wrong. So we'll be discussing that in the next slide. Um, okay, so resist for a mentor, it's very very important to resist the urge to give direct answers. Sometimes a question can be A or B and you can give them an answer, but you have to help them identify why you are choosing, or why you think that can be a good option. Talk about different options. For example, I have talked to my mentees where they were confused about which job to pick. Those jobs had variations in title, what kind of job descriptions they had, in salaries, in companies. And the best strategy is to walk through each option they have and just talk about the pros and cons, what they can expect to happen, what do you think will happen, or what is your perspective on each different options. Help them identify what questions they need to address or what they need to know before making those decisions. Help them in their critical thinking and problem solving rather than just giving them direct answers, just being their answer sheet. Honestly, you don't want that person to come in a meeting and just ask you this. You answer A, B, and C for those questions, and that's it. The conversation ends. How did you help them grow? So that is very important. Do not instruct them on how to do it, because there can be multiple ways of doing something. And you just have to walk them through what is important or necessary for them to know to make a good decision. And then asking the smart questions. Ask the smart questions so that they know what is missing from their knowledge, from their perspective, and they can just go out and find those answers and then come back to you with an open mind, with a better idea of where that conversation was actually going. It's similar to when you take on a new project at work. Initially, when you take a new project on, you're just asking questions. You want to understand what's happening, why, what do you need to know, what kind of questions would be the right questions for you to understand what path you're on. So that is where a mentor can help you, identifying areas that you may not know exist, the perspective. Yeah, and let's see. So we will now be talking about what to do when things go wrong. Let's say the relationship did not work. You do not feel the spark. You do not think that you are a good help for them. That the mentee is not respectful enough. They're not setting clear boundaries. They do not have a clear agenda. The you don't see value addition. You're not adding value to them. They are not adding value to you. What happens then? These can sometimes these can sometimes result in a conflict, or or move towards conflict. So we got a question before: how do you manage conflicts with your mentor? sometimes some conflicts can be resolved by just discussing or thinking about it or going over them. Sometimes some things are talkable. Sometimes the conflicts is basically just way too difficult to bring back together, or to talk about, or to actually move on from. So if there is such problems, stop. You do not have to keep going at a half-hearted attempt. You have every right to pull the plug and just let your mentee know that you may not be the best mentor for them at this moment. And if you have a connection that you want to connect them with, go ahead and make that connection. If not, you can just wish them best of luck in their future endeavors, and just give them a few tips on how they can, or what kind of people that they should be looking for. So it's important to value your time. At the end of the day, it's important to value your time. Make sure that your the mentee do not overstep, or make sure if they're not a right fit for you, give them the opportunity to find someone new and not waste your and their time. And also, you have to identify and understand that you are not a mother, or you're not a parent. You are a mentor. These are not therapy sessions. These are not your children that you have to be very well, I would say, connected to emotionally. So you have to maintain those boundaries, and that is very important. If you feel that these sessions are turning more into therapy sessions, then pull the plug. Value your time. That is very important. Um, and does anyone have any questions so far? Yeah. So, I mean, setting clear boundaries is very important. And if it's not working, end it. Even as a mentee, if you feel that these sessions are not helping you, end it. Be respectful and take back your time. Awesome. This was the topic for today. There is many things, and there are many other things around mentorship. I would be very happy to address any other questions that you may have. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, and we can talk more about it. Um, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. Be sure to follow PWiC to unlock a treasure of knowledge and be part of our community. PWiC is conducting and setting up new workshops. Next week, we have a 2-day Women's Day conference that we are going to be working on, and there are going to be a ton of female leaders that you can talk to, that you can connect with, and it's just going to be an amazing conference. And I would love to talk about and give shout out to our partners, Nasti USA and Fast Association. Both of these are amazing areas that you can look into if you're looking for a mentor. These are communities that are there to help you connect with female leaders, and even male leaders who are achieving great things in their career. We have a giveaway. Please sign up for a 45-minute session with the PWiC leader, and this could be something life changing. I have met all the leaders in PWiC, and they are women with resilience and amazing stories that can be helpful for everyone out there. Also, if you want to learn more about career development, feel free to follow me on LinkedIn. If you would like to connect on LinkedIn, send me a personalized message. Tell me tell me that you were a part of this webinar. Tell me what did you learn new about from this webinar, and if you have any feedbacks, I would love to hear them. let's start building that connection. Let's start building that network around us, and fill out this form, this giveaway form, and connect with a mentor would be right for you. Yeah, and let's see. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask them. We still have 5 more minutes. Maybe at the maybe, and we can talk about how mentorship has helped you. Yeah, and we have a question from Yusra. Any tips to start a mentor-mentee relationship? Start a mentor-mentee relationship. Yeah, so um, I think we have discussed this previously. But to start a mentor-mentee relationship, the first thing you need to understand is the initial screening call that I talked about. It's very important to make sure that you feel that that person can help you. Do not jump right into it. It's the same as a job application, right? A recruiter calls you, they have a bunch of questions already prepared to help identify whether you will be a good fit for that role. It's the same when you are connecting with a mentor, whether they were referred to you by someone else or you wanted to reach out to them. Just make sure you have a bunch of initial screening questions ready so that you can identify whether that person would be a good fit for you as a in a role of a mentor. I loved talking to everyone. It was amazing to see people here. We are thankful for women tech makers, Google women tech makers, who are helping us throughout our women's 2-day women's international conference, and they are our proud partners as well. We have an amazing network of people who are bringing changes in people's lives, and just follow PWiC and Google Women Tech Makers North America, and be part of a community that can help you connect to mentors as well. Thank you, everyone, and it was just amazing to see you. Please reach out and follow PWiC. Thank you.